Hi, how you all doing? It's Rex Sikes. Happy June 1st. Now I know for some it doesn't seem that way, or that I should be saying happy anything, but truly, if you're above the ground and alive and able to watch this, that's cause for celebration. I'm out front with the dogs, and Sasha's at my feet, and Bailey's a little bit over there to my left. And I just wanted to check in with everybody and say, you know, as Napoleon Hill pointed out, with great adversity comes great opportunity. An equal seed of opportunity exists within every challenge. And that for all people who have been severely challenged, whether personally, financially, in the heat of some battle, whether it's mental, spiritual, physical, emotional, whatever it may be, that it oftentimes seems the darkest before the dawn. It oftentimes seems nothing is going to go right, nothing works out, everything falls apart. You know, entropy, everything is going to crap kind of thing. But the interesting thing is that it's energy changing. It's old ways being broken down. Kind of like a forest fire comes through and it clears out all the stuff that has to be cleared out for new growth to occur. And sometimes a mudslide comes in and it removes all the topsoil. You know, now that humans are involved, we don't like it. We get upset with it. We mourn the loss of our things as well as our friends and our family, obviously. But when it comes to anything, you know, the most important thing is to, you know, cherish life and cherish people. We are one species. We're humans of a variety of forms on a rock, literally like an ice cube, you know, hurtling around the sun, you know, encased in an atmosphere, in a bubble, going something like 65,000 miles in a minute or an hour, or whatever it might be. We're one species of humans, of which there are a number of varieties. And the varieties can't get along on a rock going through space at massive speed. I mean, doesn't that just kind of seem stupid that we would fight and compete and hate and prevent others from being able to express themselves freely, whatever that means, whether it's sexually, whether it's physically, whether it's mentally, whether it's financially, whether it's emotionally, whether it's artistically, that we would be so small of a thinking mind that we wouldn't allow for all of the incredible varieties. I mean, think of nature. Look at all the pests that we consider that nature allows for, all the weeds that it allows for, all the plants, all the beauty, all the incredible, wonderful things. And during all of that time, when right now is a gorgeous, beautiful day, there are earthquakes and hurricanes and tornadoes and fires and death and destruction. And we as humans are so egocentric, chronocentric, ethnocentric as to think that others who are not exactly of our skin color, of our gender persuasion, of our financial abilities, of our nationality, of our religious, that somehow they aren't as valuable as we are. We've created borders which never existed on this planet. We have nationalized pieces of land and have put it up for sale, where humans prior to, quote, I would say uncivilized civilization, makes it all for profit. You pay taxes to live where you are. You rent your land. It's not yours. It can be taken at any moment. They can raise your taxes. They can lower your taxes, and do anything they want, because some game rules people agreed on, and most of it is done to exclude other people. If you don't mow your lawn, they yell at you because that's somebody else's property values are being harmed because your grass is too long or your house is in disrepair. You know, we are such silly creatures. We hate for no good reasons. I mean, there's no good reasons to hate. You know, yes, insects compete, you know, but they also coexist. Yes, I'm sure that animals, there are predators and there are prey, but they also coexist. You know, we who think we've reached the top of the food chain, really do ourselves no good service most of the time. In these troubled moments, from the coronavirus to the looting and the violence and the senseless murder and the outcry against it, and it's not the outcry against this murder only. It's about all the needless, senseless murders, whether it's cop on citizen, citizen on citizen, or citizen cop. It's stupid. It's needless. And yes, it exists in the same way that, you know, a spider will trap a fly. I mean, come on, people. When it comes to creating a better world, we have such great opportunity, and all the calamity that's going on right now is showing you. It's like I always say, water is always noisiest before it boils, before it transforms, before we are in birth pangs, before the new arises, everything gets shaken up, the old starts to fall apart. In order for you to build a new house in the same location as the old house has to be torn down, or it has to fall apart. And what we're watching is things falling apart. We're watching and we're involved with the decay of things that have not worked in our society and have festered for so long, because we don't understand that we're all just one species hurtling around on a rock. If we did, for God's sakes, we'd all better get along. We would all enjoy the fact that, hey, guess what? There's so many different kinds of flowers. There's so many different kinds of people, and they all are rich, and all are valuable, and all are necessary, and all are good. And there's land all over, not bordered land, but land. I get it, and if you want to have a monetary system, you know, you categorize. The only reason we have race, because there's no such thing as race, we all have blood, and then we have external characteristics, but we have the same blood going through us, essentially the same DNA going through us. We are one species of a number of varieties. When are we going to learn? I mean, when are we going to realize that? Black lives do matter. Now, I say all lives matter. Somebody will get mad because they say, "Well, you're taking an argument away from what's important." It's like if a house is burning down, you say, well, all houses are important. You're pouring water in the houses that aren't burning. I agree with that. I mean, I get that. I mean, I think that's really important to point out. But black lives do matter, and yellow lives matter, and red lives matter, and brown lives matter, and white lives matter. And the fact is that it's just human. It doesn't matter if you're from Africa or Scotland. It doesn't matter if you're from the Middle East or Asia. You're on this planet. You're a human. And what we've done as what we call society, as what we call civilized, is we categorize. We say there's white, there's brown, there's yellow, there's red, you know, in order to segregate, essentially. It's for control. Mental control, physical control, financial control. It's for control. And until we're willing to give up the categories, until we're willing to stop identifying ourselves by our external features, and I'm not trying to take, whenever the downtrodden are limited, it's harder for them to be heard, and so they will make a greater point of, hey, this is who we are, and I get that, and I respect that. So I'm not trying to take that or steal that thunder from people, you know, for whom it is necessary to exclaim, hey, you know, and I'm white, right? I mean, I'm one of those who get through life easier than a lot of people. Where I am, that may not be true if I were somewhere else in a different country as a white person. It might be terrible. But as a white person in a pretty much white land, I get a pass on a lot of things. And that is not acceptable. Do I like it? Sure I do. Of course I do. But I want it for everybody, not just for me. I want it for the black man and woman, and the yellow man and woman, and the red man and woman, and the brown man and woman, and all the different shades of human beings all around the world, whether they're Scottish or Irish or Canadian or Korean or Japanese or Chinese or African or Uganda or Middle Eastern or Australian or English. It doesn't matter. My blog today is I am about being Antifa. You know, I am anti-fascist. I oppose the notion of government and corporate control. I oppose what's going on in this country in many ways. That doesn't mean I have to be violent about it. But we do need to do something. And what's happening right now, and what I'm here to say is this. All of the problems that we face right now will one day be gone. They will pass. Everything passes. Night becomes day. Hot becomes cold. The waves go out and the waves come in. People die and people are born. Everything changes. Change is our constant. We all know this. Right now is opportunity to examine what is going on, what isn't working, what hasn't worked, what's been festering. Notice it. And then turn our attention to how we want to improve on it. The old foundation gets removed and the new foundation gets built. And in order to build a new foundation where the old one existed, you should have a plan. You should have a positive plan and a blueprint, and you should have the resources and the people in order to make it happen. Because if you don't, just fighting the old is never going to create anything new. You have to create something new. That has to be your mission. You have to turn away from what is wrong and turn toward what is right, and then work to bring about what is right. You can't just stay focused on the problem. The problem lets you know what needs to be changed. The tough time lets you know that, hey, we have an opportunity here. And really, it's a matter of your attitude and your mindset and your willingness to work together with other people. Because if you think you can't, and you think you won't, and you think nothing's going to change and it's always going to be bad, well, guess what? You get to live with that attitude, with those feelings, with that mindset, and that's not a place that I want to live. Without hope, there's no change. Now, I know for some you can make the argument, well, let's pretend that you have a life sentence and you're in prison and every day you hope that you get out. Well, in that case, your hope might be a great burden for pain. But if you hope to make the best use of your time while in prison, if you hope to benefit yourself, if you hope to be improved, if you hope to be able to free yourself mentally, physically, spiritually, emotionally from where you are, so that where you are doesn't dictate how you feel, how you think, and how you behave, then you become free. But if where you are, if your location, if your circumstances, if the events or the people around you dictate how you must feel, and how you must react, and how you must think, and what you must do and what you cannot do, then you are not free, and you will never be free until you decide to take 100% responsibility for your choices, for your attitude, for your mindset, for your thoughts, until you realize, hey, I am a co-creator of this reality. I may not have gone there and done that, but my reactions to it contribute to it. Perception is everything. And if you think you can or you think you cannot, you are absolutely correct. So if you think you cannot, most likely you won't. You will not act if you don't think it's possible. If you find it hopeless, you are most likely helpless. But if you think you can, if you think it's possible, if you think that there might be some tiny little sliver of hope in there where you can do something, and if you take advantage of that and actually do something, then you can and will make a difference for yourself that can greatly improve your situation. But if you always do what you always have done, you will always get what you always got. If we keep perpetuating the old way, the decaying way, the dying way, the way that has harmed and hurt so many worldwide for so many decades, for so many centuries, if we continue to perpetuate that, if what we seek is to return to that, that normal, and we perpetuate it, then it'll be change will be longer in the coming. But if we decide that we can, and then we do what we can positively, I'm not talking about destroying things, looting things, burning things down, criticizing things, name calling, or any of that stuff. I'm saying if you can positively find positive actions, or if you find good actions, positive actions, beneficial actions that help yourself get ahead and everyone else, then you can make an incredible positive difference. And there's a multiplier effect, because if you help one person and that one person helps another person, pretty soon what you've done is you've created a small local wave of help. And if you can create a small local wave of help, you can create an international wave of help. This is where social media can connect us. Instead of complaining and whining and blaming and accusing, and, don't you have enough of that already? And almost everywhere you turn, somebody's blaming their kids, somebody's blaming their parents, somebody's blaming their spouse or their significant other, somebody's blaming the bank, someone's blaming the government's blaming the people are blaming the... Okay, you know what? You just got to stop. You just got to stop. You got to say, you know what? That ends with me. The buck stops here. I'm going to do what I can to make the world a better place. And if you decide that you can, even if it's your own little personal place, even if it's only a little corner of your room that you make extra special for you, that gives you comfort, it makes you feel better, it lets you take a breath of deep, fresh air, it gives you pause, and allows you to come back feeling confident and more competent that you can get through any kind of time that... See, the problem with what's happened in the world psychologically... By the way, here's what I'm going to show you. If you need an uplift, read my book, Life on Your Terms, Live the Life You Want. If you really want some help, go grab my book, take one of my programs, get the Attitude Activator. You can go to nlponline.com, nlponline.com. Now let's party online.com, all one word, nlponline.com. You can get my book, you can get the Attitude Activator, you can look at the different courses that we have. And I don't say that other than if you need help, help is available. And if it's not mine, get it from somewhere else. But if you need help with your attitude, with your mindset, with the way you feel, with your behaviors, there is help available. There is inspiration, there is motivation, and those are meaningless until you actually apply stuff. Information does nothing to change you unless you apply it. Edison knew about vacuum, and he knew about burning charcoal underground, but until he applied it, he or whomever didn't have a working light bulb. The information was there. It was there from the dawn of humankind. You know, water boiling at 212 has been the same thing for eons and eons. It didn't change. We've had that information from all of time. But now that we know it, we can do something about it. We can monitor it. We can quantify it. We can qualify it. We can do all sorts of things. Information is just information until it's acted on. To know and not to do is to not know. Action is the proper fruit of knowledge. But what I'm trying to say is, if you need an uplift, uplifts are available, because the better you feel, the clearer you think, the more productive and positive and powerful you can be. People give their power away. This has been, I believe, if there's any conspiracy in the world, it's been to distract you, to keep you frustrated, to keep you divided, to keep you angry, to keep you scared, to keep you fearful, to keep you broke and impoverished, so that you and I and whomever cannot get what others already have, because they don't want to share the pie. They're afraid, they're fearful, they're terrified that somehow they're going to lose something, so they hoard and hoard and hoard and hoard and hoard and hoard and hoard, so that you can't have it, because if you get a sliver of their pie, it's a sliver they don't have. And so our cultural messages, our media messages, our political messages, our religious messages, the peer messages from our peers, our friends, our family, the significant people who take care of us, have always been kind of predetermined that, hey, they're the haves, but you can't touch them, and then there's you. And then they say, well, if you work hard enough, you can make it. And then they take all of the opportunity out of it. Now, people are still getting rich. The billionaires are getting wealthier and wealthier the longer these problems persist, because they understand how to make money work for them instead of working for their money. And what they want you to do is work for your money. They want you to exchange your dollars for hours. Give up your life and work hard, so that at the end of your life, you've amassed a very little amount You know, meanwhile, you pay taxes that they don't pay. You have medical bills that they don't have. You got, you know, a high cost of living. If there's a conspiracy, it's to keep you distracted as a person so that you don't achieve your personal best. You know what? There's tons of room at the top. For that 1%, think about that. 1% makes it to the top. That means there's room for 99% more. That's you. That's you and me and everyone else. Think about that. There's plenty of room. And this world is abundant. I was talking earlier about all the flowers and all the trees and all the insects and all the animal and all the variety inside this closed, bubbled rock hurtling through space. And all the varieties of people. We are an abundant, rich, incredibly abundant planet. I'm sitting out here, it's my lawn, all the neighbors, there's no shortage of grass here. Lawn grass. But you get what I'm saying? Abundance is a mindset. Those who are uber wealthy and who hoard so that you can't have a share, their mindset is not abundance. Their mindset is scarcity, it's fear, and they will do anything and everything they can to keep you down. And I'm saying that they're all in it together. I'm saying that this could be a tacit, you know, conspiracy of of scared people. You know. But here's the thing. You either agree with them and think you can't do it, and you give up and you don't bother to try. Or you go, you know what, I'm not going to let somebody else dictate what I can accomplish or what I can achieve or who I can be. I'm not going, you know, it's like the people who told Spencer Tracy or Lady Gaga or whomever, you'll never make it. Some people buckle because someone said that, and other people go, you know what, that's your opinion, I'm going to work at making it. And when you read about people like J.K. Rowling or Famous Amos or Fanny Bryce, who you may not even know the reference to, people who faced amazing odds in rejection to become successful or famous or rich or well-known or whatever it may be. It's not, and it's just not fame. I mean, it's in every area or in every endeavor, whether it's sports, whether it's in battle, whether it's finance, whether it's in love, whether it's in family. People have overcome incredible odds. In my book, I talk about how people, and you know this, people have escaped the prison using nothing but a spoon, some small implement that they continued to consistently use in order to dig a tunnel to get out of prison, to escape against all odds, because they decided that they wanted to get out. Now, I'm not advocating escaping from prison, just so you know. But my point, I hope, is well taken. That if you apply what you know, no matter how small it is, a drip becomes a trickle becomes a stream becomes a river flows to the ocean. And water, as flexible and as gentle as it is, has great propensity to erode. So a tiny little drip, never think you're insignificant, never think you're powerless, never think you can't do anything, because the moment you think you can't and the moment you decide that you won't or will not, or you can't, then you've given up, you've thrown in the towel, you've quit before you even started. And when I said there's a conspiracy, this is what the psychological, the medical, the financial, the religious community has done for us for years. You know, we're sinners that need saving, and we need to rely on somebody. We can't afford things because, you know, whatever. I mean, I don't even want to go there. My point being, the conspiracy, whether it's a agreed upon conspiracy or one that just exists tacitly, you know, implicitly, is if you're distracted from what you think, what you can accomplish, and you don't think you can, and you give away your power, and you give away your responsibility for creating the life you want and attracting the life you want, then they have won. and you'll be a wage slave, and you'll trade your hours for money, and you will always be at the mercy of somebody else. Yes, you can be an entrepreneur, but that's not what this is about. What this is about is saying, claim your power back to make the world a better place for you and for others, for your family, for your friends, for the stranger next door. Most people don't even know their neighbors anymore. I mean, think about that. We have the opportunity to make the world an incredible place. You have the opportunity to make your life an incredible life, regardless of what events are going on around you. It's what you think about the events that makes the difference. I always come back in many ways to, man's search for meaning. Because while in prison, he said, you can imprison my body, but not my mind. And if you can't grab that concept that you are free to choose, you may have to override some of your very own conditioning and learn how to do that. But you can. I mean, that's the cool part about it. You can. And those circumstances may look dire. You can look at circumstances however you choose to. You can focus on the good or the not so good. It's your choice. You can focus on being helpless and hopeless, or on being productive and powerful and confident and making a difference. It's completely up to you. The problem is that most people don't tell you that. You don't learn it from your parents, most of you, most of us. You don't get those messages while you're in school. You have to find it on your own, whether through a coach or a mentor or a video like this or from, my book. But you get what I'm getting at? If you want the world to be a better place, take responsibility for making it a better place. Don't sit here with what's going on and complain and whine and blame and accuse others. Take some proactive steps in making it better. Start where you're at. Make it better for you, your family, your friends, your neighborhood, your community, your city. Make it good for your state, your federal government, your nation, and the globe. You can do this. But only if you believe you can. And if you don't believe you can, that's the first step you need to address. If it's not possible or plausible for you to consider it, you won't. Until it becomes possible or plausible for you to consider it. We all wake up at our own time. I mean, I could say this to the same person for 50 years and they may do nothing with it. Or they might do something with it a half hour later. It's up to that person. So it's up to you. I just want to say that there's immense hope. There's immense opportunity. There's incredible times that will come from all the problems that we have. We will learn if we're willing to learn. We will change if we're willing to change. We'll grow better if we're willing to grow better. And if we want a good new foundation, then we don't have to pull down the old one. It's falling apart. We might have to throw some of the wood out, like when that kind of thing. You got to clear it. We don't have to do that violently. Just clear it. You don't have to battle with decay. You just remove it. And once it's removed, and as it's removed, and as it's in the process, we need to be thinking about, considering, planning, and deciding how we want it better. And become of one mind, of one accord, and work together united in harmony. You can't let them continue to divide us and pit us, skin color against skin color, religion against religion, nationality against nationality, financial benefits against financial benefits, political, red and blue. We can't let them do that to us. You have to take ownership of where you are. I said I'm Antifa. Somebody goes, oh, maybe you don't want to align with that. I'm anti-fascist. I can say that. I am not for racism. I want all people of all colors, of all nations, of all religions, of all sexual preferences, of everything to get along and live in love and harmony. I don't have any problem saying that. And I do oppose those who promote hate and fear and anger and frustration and try and keep people down. But the key is not to just continue to oppose them, but to offer something better, offer an alternative, show that there's a different direction. We don't have to keep going down the same path. You know, it's not about battling the old, it's about promoting the new, creating the new, attracting the new, doing the new. What you focus on is what you get. Where your attention goes, your energy goes. If it's all spent fighting the problem, which is what they want, we will never build anything new. I want to say that again. If all of our attention goes to fighting the problem, we will never build anything new. If we're spent battling in war constantly, we're not doing reconstruction. We can't, because we're always in battle. We're always destroying. We're always waging war against something. So our energy doesn't go to reconstruct, to build. And this is where we need to learn an important lesson. There will always be, even Einstein said it, great minds will always do contention with mediocre spirits. Or great spirits will always do contention with mediocre minds. Let me say that again. Great spirits will always do contention, will always have to contend with mediocre minds. There's always going to be death. There's always going to be night. There's always going to be cold. There's always going to be loss. There's always going to be fires and earthquakes and tornadoes and whatever. Okay, we got to get over that. That's just part of what it means to be alive on the planet. There's always going to be somebody trying to con somebody else, somebody trying to steal something, somebody trying... Okay, until maybe there isn't. And the only way we know if we ever get there is by creating enough abundance for everyone so that nobody has to steal. And if you go, well, that's utopia, okay. But the point is, better to strive for a utopian world that may not exist than to accept a dystopian world that we live with in pain and suffering every day. I'd rather be disappointed that I didn't make it perfect than to live with it as it is. Does that make sense? If it's to be, it's up to me. If it's to be, it's up to you. Better to have loved and lost than to have never loved. Let's go with that. You know, aim to, Mars, and if you land on the moon, you've gotten further than you might have otherwise. There's a reason why these thoughts, these notions, these affirmations, these truisms exist, because they sum up a lot inside a few words. They're there so that we can easily remember to stay the course, to focus on what we want, to step by step get closer to the goal, to act in our own best interest by doing a little bit every day, by managing our mindset. By, again, if you don't think well, you're not going to feel well. And if you don't feel well, you're not going to behave well, and so you're not going to be very productive. And this is why we're over-medicated, our food is tainted, our air is polluted, and nobody seems to give a crap, because it makes us weak. That's why all of the electromagnetics and everything goes on in the world. Now, we can sit here and complain about them and worry about them and fear about them, but you know what? They're our reality right now. I can't escape microwaves if I wanted to, or radio waves or TV. I can't escape it. That is the outer reality, but I can choose how I live and what I think about them. And listen, I am not talking about the guy, the religious guy in Jurassic Park who holds up the Bible or the cross and goes, and the dinosaur eats him. I'm not talking about the people who go, I have so much faith I can pick up snakes and get bit and die, or drink poison and die. That's not faith. That is stupidity. That is stupidity. Positive thinking and or faith would be, we can manage the dinosaurs. You don't have to get in its path when it's rampaging. Does that make sense? You don't stand in front of a truck and go, I trust God that I won't get hit at this moment. I keep telling people, if you want to learn to fly, stand on the ground and fly up. That's what the Wright brothers did, for crying out loud. They didn't launch themselves off a cliff. Others did. Fly up. They took off from the ground. You don't do stupid things. Hopefully you go smarter and wiser. By the way, let's see who's here. Oh, hi, Michelle, Tony, Les, Tim, Richard. I hope you're all still here. I can't tell. And others. Oh, cool. But so that's it. You learn to walk. You learn to crawl before you learn to walk. You learn to walk before you run. We can build a better world. We're in the process of it. Even right now, while things seem to be falling apart, we can be building things. We can be working on ourselves. We can be transforming ourselves. We can renew our minds. We can renew our spirit. We can renew our hearts. We can choose how we want to experience these. Hi, Tim. Awesome. How we want to go through these days. You either go through them as a victor or as a victim. And I keep telling you, you know, the messages we get in our culture from psychologists, from advertisers, from brands. Look, think about it this way. You're told that you need a certain toothpaste, a certain hair product, a certain bath gel, certain makeup, certain clothes, certain brands in order to be a valuable person in society so that you'll attract other people. Certain shoes. You have to look a certain way, talk a certain way, act a certain way, behave a certain way, drive a certain car, have a certain house, right? You have to fit in. You need to wear it on your sleeve. You have to have a certain amount of money. You got to do all these things. We are like microwaves. You can't escape it. The messages around us are messages of, hey, you know what? You're not good enough just the way you are. You smell, your pit smell, your breath smells, you get dandruff, you get flakes, you're too white, you're too dark, you're too whatever. You know, here, buy my product. But it's not just about buying your product, it's about the mindset that accompanies it. You know? It's coffee's good, coffee's bad, wine is good, wine is bad, fat is good, fat is bad. It's all these messages that screw us up. And then on top of that, you can't live the life that you want. They're disempowering messages. They're on billboards, they're in the news, they're in the media, they're coming from the White House, they're coming from every which way, from our parents, for crying out loud. We're conditioned from the time we're 0 to 7 years old to have limitations and beliefs that we adopt and we think they're own, and they make up our own inner talk and our own inner dialogue, the things we say to ourselves, the things we believe, the things that we value. And you know what? None of them are necessarily true. You can choose whatever you want. You can choose to think, you know what, I am a pauper and I will never get anywhere because someone told you that. Or you can choose to think, I am wealthy and I deserve everything that I get and I can make as much money as I want. And I don't mean to make it about money. Some people think I am unloving, undeserving, nobody will love me. Another person thinks, you know what, I'm a great catch and I will attract the right person in my life. And I will contribute to them from my goodness and my love and my abundance, and they to me. And we will have a nice, wonderful, harmonious relationship. And they live in love because of the attitude that they both have. While somebody else is going, I need somebody to love me, I need somebody to love me, I am unworthy, I am unloved, I can't. Yeah, I've been there. I'm that person too. You know what I'm saying? It begins in here. And I don't mean just here, because it's your whole body. This is where the mystics were so incredible. From your root chakra to above your head, there are energy centers that all talk about the different aspects of behavior, whether it's survival, whether it's power, whether it's love, communication, mentality, enlightenment, spirituality. Your whole being. Your heart, your mind. You know, your heart has an energy just like your brain has an energy. Your body has an energy. They're all vibrating at different rates, different frequencies. My words are frequencies. They are literally percussing the air, and your brain is translating these vibrations into intelligible words based on you having learned language, and that we're speaking the same language. But I'm just vibrating the air with sound. We're all energy. Hi, Brad. Hi, sister. Cool. Thank you, Michelle. You know, so the point is, you know, if you want to live your best, you have to think your best. You have to feel your best. You have to do your best. And you're not going to do it if you buy into all the messages that you're not good enough, or that it's wrong to feel the way you do. You are perfect the way you are. It's weird because, you know, I want to help people, and I offer things. I offer courses and books and tapes, and, you know, tapes is like an old-fashioned word, right? But I offer all these things for people so that they can let go of what troubles them, problems, limitations, limiting beliefs, so that they can develop a powerful mindset, a champion mindset of a victor, and begin to live the life of their dreams, the life they want, to live life on your terms. So I've for 40 years, I've been creating programs and products and doing live and online seminars. Because the counter also exists. Every day there's a new diagnosis of how a human condition that is normal for centuries suddenly becomes a problem. It becomes a disorder or a disease. It requires treatment or a drug, so that somebody can manufacture a drug or a treatment in order to profit by it. Self-improvement is not really, I mean, that's the industry, right? Personal development, self-improvement, professional development. That's the name we give these, because we're talking about. Hey, Abraham. Thank you. Abraham, thank you. Really enjoy your wisdom. Thank you. My point is, self-improvement is a description for the processes that I share and or that others may be sharing. There's really no such thing as self-improvement. You're perfect the way you are. You have all the resources within you. And yeah, you may have limitations and other things too. You've got everything. So it's a process of letting go. It's like the notion of digging a hole. You remove the dirt in order to get to the treasure. So that's the point. Within you is an incredible wisdom and treasure. Within you is all deserving of all goodness and abundance. Within you is all wisdom and knowledge and experience from your background and your history. You are a rare and beautiful flower on the planet, of which there are millions and millions of flowers in a variety of species. I mean, how incredible is this? And you are one of them. You don't have to improve on you. You have to let go of what prevents you from being truly who you are. You just let go of what is preventing you from being the authentic person you are. The rose doesn't try to be the rose. It just is the rose. And that's what we need to be. And so, yes, we talk about how you can make that happen for yourself. Because too often the messages are, you're not enough, you'll never succeed, you can't do this, you can't do that. And those aren't just the messages coming from the outside, those are the ones that people are telling themselves repeatedly on the inside, because those are the messages they grew up with and that they have been exposed to. And psychology, for at least the last 40 years that I've been involved with the field, continues to do two things. One is, on the one hand, it seems very noble and very helpful to tell people everything is okay, it's all right to be broken and depressed and be sad and everything else. But it also is there to disempower people and make them feel coddled and need drugs and need treatment and need therapy. You know, because you get it. You got a right hand and a left hand. The bird can't fly with just one wing. So my point is depending on what you look at, you will always find what it is you're looking for. If you're looking for a problem, you're going to find a problem. If you're looking for a solution, you'll find a solution. If you're looking for your authentic self, you can find your authentic self. I'm fond of saying everybody will wake up sometime. Not everyone is awake right now. Some people are sleeping and some people are awake. And everybody eventually wakes up. When they do is when they do. I always say, you know, people say, well, if you do that, people won't buy your product. And I go, you know what? The right people will always buy my product. And those that haven't woken up to it yet, either they will or they won't. The right people always come to me. I am always surrounded by the right people. Even those who challenge me. even those who could aggravate me. They're there so that I can become a better person, that I can be more of my authentic self. And if I get caught up in arguing with them, then I get caught up in arguing with them. If I learn from this experience, then I learn from the experience. Challenges make us grow stronger. The kite rises highest against the wind. You build your biceps by lifting weights that give you resistance. If we have no challenges, we still grow. You know, there are big trees in my yard, and there's some smaller ones. And the saying is that the flexible reed survives the biggest storms, like the tornadoes and the hurricanes, because they bend in the wind, where the big oak can't bend, just gets uprooted and tossed aside. It's okay to be powerful and strong. Love you. Thank you. Have a great day, Michelle. We'll see you next time. It gets upended because it can't bend. It can't go with the flow. It can't, there's nothing to, you got to be flexible. You got to be able to move. You got to go with the flow. My thing is, you know, you go with the flow. It's like you're in a canoe going down the river, and you get to decide what side of the river you want to go down, the left side, the right side, or right down the middle. You get to navigate, but you go with the current, you know? It's a whole lot easier than battling the current. It's a whole lot easier than trying to go upstream in a canoe. So you allow yourself to release and let go of everything that isn't you. That's an uncovering process. That's getting rid of the dirt. And for some people, that is a beginning step. For some people, that is absolutely needed, but they will only come to it when they come to it. The right people will get my book at the right time. You know, I would love everybody to read my book. I'd love all 8 billion people on the planet to have a copy of my book. That would be, one, it'd be amazing. It'd be cool. Hey, and you can help with that. But the point I'm making is that, you know, I would love it because it would be good information for everybody to have. But not everybody will hear it until they're ready to hear it. Kind of like, you know, your mom calling you for lunch. Hey, come on. And you go, yeah, I heard you. Come on in. You go, yeah, I heard you. Come on in. Yeah, I heard you. Come on in. But you don't move. You don't do anything. Go, hey, how many times am I going to have to call you? You go, well, just stop calling me and I'll be there. You know, those kinds of things. People wake up when they wake up. People are ready when they're ready. Your dashboard light goes off, and hopefully you notice it. Got it? So that you can take your car in for repair. That's what your feelings are all about. You know, if you feel something is off, check your thoughts. Examine what's going on. See if you have a limiting belief, so that you can let go. You can analyze it. You can decide to believe something else instead of what you believe. You don't have to live with the limitation just because you've had a limitation. If you always do what you always did, you always get what you always got. So if you want to be different, you got to change something. So if you change enough things in your life, even just one thing, everything can change. It's up to you. If you change nothing, it will be the same. So the little reed out in the yard is flexible, and the wind blows, and it goes this way and that way, and all the while it's growing up strong because it's flexible. And surviving when the big oak couldn't. Now, sometimes the oak will stand when all else gets removed. I'm not saying there's a right answer for that analogy. I'm just pointing things out, that everything and anything is possible. You have the opportunity to dramatically transform your life, but you'll only do it when you decide to do it. Complete and utter transformation is absolutely a few seconds away. It's a decision away. All you have to do is make the decision. And some people will go, yo, I don't know. And they'll get into a whole cerebral argument about it. They haven't made the decision. They're arguing about the decision. They're arguing over their beliefs about the decision instead of deciding. And they will argue and continue to argue and talk and debate and whatever and give up and do this, do that until they're ready to decide. And once they decide, then anything and everything is possible. Then you can transform anything. Then it's only a matter of whether you will or not. Once you can, then it's up to you if you will. I can have a lump of clay and go, I can sculpt. But until I do sculpt, it's just a lump of clay sitting there. If I want it to be a statue, I have to make it the statue, and the same is true about each of us. If you want to be your authentic self, you have to wake up to who you are. The dashboard indicator light that tells you need oil, or your tire is low, or that the engine has problems, that the lights or something's wrong, or the door is unlocked, are there so that you can change it. You can take it in and have it serviced so that it doesn't become a larger problem. Okay, this is wrong, fix it. That's what your feelings are all about. That's what circumstances are all about. The world around us tells us what's wrong. You can't stay focused on what's wrong. You can't just sit there and look at the indicator light on your dashboard and do nothing about it. You can't blame the indicator light. Excuse me. You can't blame the indicator light or excuse the indicator light or curse it. It's not going to change it. The only thing that's going to change it is if you take it in and find out what the solution is to the problem. You have to shift your attention from what was the problem to the solution. What did decay, the old house, the old foundation, and to what is you're going to build new. You literally turn away from, this is where they talk about sin and repentance means to turn away from sin, to no longer do what you were doing. And I'm not, steeped in religious mishmash of everybody has an opinion. I'm just trying to tell you what the original apparent words meant was to turn away from. And what you need to do is turn away from negativity. You need to turn away from ignorance. You need to turn away from hate. You need to turn away from fear and for doubt and anxiety, and then choose the opposite. If you think I can't, you have to stop and say I can. If you think I'm not enough, you have to think no, I am more than enough. I am capable. If you think I'm too fat, you have to think I can be thin. I can learn to eat right. I can do what I want in order to live the kind of life I want, to feel the kind of energy I want, to experience the kind of body I want. I don't have to be stuck in old beliefs. It's like saying, hey, you know what? I got a pair of shoes when I was 6 years old, and I've never changed them, and they hurt like hell, and my feet have outgrown them, but I keep wearing them because they are mine. They're the ones I have. You got to update and get rid of these old limiting beliefs that prevent you from being your true authentic self. And when you do, then you are free to soar through the skies like the strongest eagle. Get it? I am Rex Sikes. I'm here for you. You're here for me. We're all in this together. I hope you have a great time. If you got my book and you read it, leave a review at Amazon. I would love that. I'd love to hear from you. If you haven't got my book, I encourage you to read it. And this isn't just about the book. This is about you taking charge of your life. But if you need something to read, because people are saying, hey, what can I read on Facebook and everything? What can I read that would empower me, that would help me? Read Life on Your Terms, my book. It's available at Amazon. My name, Rex Sikes. You can go and get it if you haven't already. And if you have, leave a review if you've read it. If you liked it, I would love to hear about it. If you didn't like it, I'd love to hear about it because I want to get feedback. Okay? The point is to take charge of your life. Take charge of your thinking, your feeling. Take charge of you. Don't live as less than what you are, who you are, and what you're capable of. Thrive. Succeed. We live in an abundant world. So right now, it's 211 degrees. Everything is hot. Everything is bubbling. It's making lots of noise. Things seem to be falling apart. But you know what? It's going to happen. It's going to hit 212. And when it turns 212, suddenly it'll turn to a rolling boil. You won't hear it the way you did before. And steam will be released. At 212, you'll be a new person. The world will be a new person. It will transform. It's 211. And we're bubbling and boiling, and the atoms are colliding, and things are being shaken up. So that we know that in a little while, things change. What's going on right now will pass and become something new. The question about whether it's something good or not is up to us, each of us, and what we decide. Opportunity exists inside of adversity, but you have to look for the opportunity, act on the opportunity, or all you have is the adversity. If you don't know it's there, you don't know it's there. It's kind of like something on your back. If you can't see it, you don't know it. You need to, somebody has to point it out and go, you know, there's this thing on your back, and you might want to be aware of it. Kind of like if you had something hanging out of your nose, wouldn't you want somebody to tell you, hey, get something hanging there, you gotta take care of that thing. That's feedback. And that's what the world's giving us right now. Virus, haters, bad administrations, crime in the streets. So all telling us that what we have done so far isn't working really well, and it's time to get a new pair of shoes, ones that fit. We need to trade in the old for the new. A new day is coming. Keep the faith. This will pass. Question is what will you create? What will you make happen that's better for you and better for the world? And can you do it? Excuse me. Can you do it in harmony with everyone else? Can we create a new vision and a new mission and a purpose for all of us to embrace? Like I posted today, I said, give peace a chance. You know, that they said that 50 years ago. Maybe it's about time we try. Imagine what that would be like. From John Lennon. How about it? In order to exist in a new reality, we have to first conceive of that reality. That's where we use our imagination. That's where we agree on the vision and the purpose. You can't exist in a new reality if you can't first conceive it. And Napoleon Hill did say, if you can't conceive it and if you will believe it, then you can achieve it. So know this, we have to plan for a miracle and plan for a better day, and then we will bring it about. We can't just do what we've always done. Now is our opportune time, so let's take advantage of it. I'm Rex Sikes. Thanks for joining me. If you like this, leave comments, share it. Read my blog today. I don't even remember what I called it, but it has a nuclear explosion, if you see it on Facebook, as a photograph. And then check into the things that I've talked about, all right? All the best to you. Peace, love, namaste. And live the life you want and create your best life ever. All right? We're going to the dog park.